Giovanini.
Here.
Barr.
Here.
Gill. S. Horner.
Here.
Causer.
Here.
A. Horner.
Here.
Rainbolt.
Here.
Bradshaw.
Here.
Howard.
Here.
Willie.
Here.
Great, thank you. We have 3 items on the consent agenda. If there are no questions. Oh, I'm sorry. We have meeting of the Civic Center Authority tonight. And with no business of that, I will open and close it. Now moving on to the consent agenda. We have 3 items for consideration. No? Okay.
There's
One
a-
question?
So in the minutes from the 5th, you have A. Horner listed twice for roll call.
I will fix that, thanks.
Can I also add that there's a spelling correction on H? Instead of while.
Change that,
Thank
thanks.
you.
Good job, people. Okay, so I have a motion from Jamie to accept the consent agenda, second by Barb. Roll call, please.
Giovanini.
Yes.
Barr.
Yes.
Horner.
Yes.
Causer.
Yes.
A. Horner.
Yes.
Rainbolt.
Yes.
Bradshaw.
Yes.
Howard.
Yes.
Willie.
Yes.
Thank you. Item A on our regular agenda is a presentation by the Heartland Community College and their strategic plan. And so we have a few ladies that are coming up to tell us what's going on there.
Very good. Is this on or do I?
Automatically be on.
Okay, okay. Very good. I'll let that come up. Good evening tonight. We are from the Board of Trustees from Heartland Community College, and we wanted to connect specifically with all of the government officials in the territory and the district of 540 of Heartland Community College, because we have been working on our strategic plan, both a strategic plan overall for the college as well as a strategic plan for the regional campus here in Pontiac. And we have some we have a lot of information to share with you, but we have some asks for you as well, and specifically in this territory to try to support the business and industry and the people of Pontiac and the surrounding communities. So to begin with, I wanted to introduce myself. I am Becky Ropp. I am the chair of the Board of Trustees for Heartland Community College. And with me tonight is Janet Hood, our vice chair. And Janet is also in charge, she is our chair of our finance committee. Also with us tonight is Keith Corneal, our president of Heartland Community College, Chris Downing, and he helps with the regional campuses, as well as April. And remind me, April, of your last name? Ranero, thank you, sorry. She is in charge of the Pontiac campus here in town, and I understand she is a Pontiac original and helping serve the community here. So I just wanted to introduce them because they might jump in and answer any specific questions, the hard questions that we can't answer for you. But to begin with, I wanted to talk a little bit about our planning process overall and how we've come to a lot of the insights that we have for you. So this started out last year in the fall of 2024. And we did an environmental scan. We worked with Northern Illinois University and specifically gathered a lot of information and a lot of insights about the district and background, statistics, different things to help us better understand the area that we serve. And just to make sure that our information is all up to date and what we're reading from, what we're learning from is appropriate. Then we went on a listening tour from January through May, and Northern Illinois University was really, really helpful in that. We had a lot of whether they were in-person sessions here in the city or in the territory up here across the district, as well as virtual options for a lot of those listening tours. Once we gathered all that information, both the statistics as well as direct information from both the listening from the individual sessions with the communities, as well as a lot of out in the business and industry, then we came back and made a first draft. What we thought we heard from a lot of this, and kind of pulled some of that together. Then we did a plan feedback, and we started to talked to us as a board. They talked to took it out into business and industry and communities to talk about some of the things that we had learned to make sure we were in the loop with what they were seeing as well. And now we're working to finalize that plan. So we're right in between the fall of 25 and the spring of 26, and that's why we're here with you. We want to make sure that you see where we are going, where we think our goals need to be, and we want to align that with what you see in your community and make sure we are aligning with what your goals are and what you think is most important for technical training and education and development in the Pontiac area. And we're looking to implement this later in 2026, but we want to make sure that we do this tour just to show you all what we're thinking before we get to that finalized part. So talking about an environmental scan, these were some of the findings that we had in the territory specifically, and this presentation is specific for the Pontiac, the city of Pontiac, as well as the Livingston County area. So in the environmental scan, okay. In the environmental scan, the things that were brought up were low employment participation rate. So employment participation rate is really the number of people that can participate in employment divided by the population in the territory. So in Livingston County, there's approximately 58% is a lower employment participation rate. And so we want to make sure that we support the employment of individuals in the Livingston County area, specifically the city of Pontiac. There's a need for healthcare workers. There's a need for technical education. CDL training is a specific need, and this area, the Livingston County area specifically, has a growing Hispanic population that we want to make sure that we're supporting as well. So those are a few of the environmental scans, and I'm on page 4 if you have it, or the slide 4 if in your packet. So then on slide 5, the enrollment trends. In the high school, what no college data means is those those students coming out of high school that are not going to college. So these students might be going straight into the workforce. They might be going to the military. And so what we're trying to do is to see what are those percentages that we might be able to tap into to say Heartland Community College might be a really good choice for you, whether that's technical education, you might be able to get certificates, you might be able to get those stackable certificates to work towards a little bit higher job opportunity or towards a career. And so in looking at that data, the district average of across 540, that not heading to college data was about 28%. In the Pontiac Township, that number is 43.5%. So there might be a few more students in this territory that we can attract to Heartland Community College if we're tailoring our needs to what they want or what they need and what jobs you have in this territory that we can help support and sustain. So then, moving on into slide 6, then, in the listening tour findings, this is where Janet is going to talk to you about the listening tour that we conducted.
I'm a little shorter. Can you hear me? Okay. So, with the listening tour findings, staff conducted, of course, the 30 listening sessions with leaders in the community. The purpose of these listening sessions was to validate or dispute the environmental scan and obtain new information from the stakeholders. What we found, local employers faced challenges, not surprising to you, often needing to reach outside the community to fill job postings. Also, there was a need to have healthcare training options locally in order to produce a qualified workforce. Further, these listening sessions also validated the importance of meeting the needs of the people in the communities that we serve. Here in Pontiac, Livingston area, we found people questioned the value of higher education in terms of debt versus return on investment, length of the program being too long, in many cases. Many people thought all higher education was one model in one way, which was the traditional university model, often seen as being too expensive and too time-consuming. People were unfamiliar with the short-term courses available at Heartland and their relatively low cost compared to the traditional universities. People thought there was a lack of clear pathways for technical education students to colleges and careers. So, several community challenges that Becky hit upon earlier. One challenge was high levels of underemployment, though not necessarily unemployment. Many in the environmental scans and the listening tours were surprised not to see a high poverty rate, as they felt there were more economic needs across the county. However, I've lost my place. When the percentage of poverty is combined with ALICE percentages, ALICE is asset limited, income constrained, employed. Livingston County sits at approximately 40%. Transportation challenges exist both within the county and within the city of Pontiac and to the normal campus. We all know that there's a child care desert existing in Pontiac area. Heartland is aware of this and is part of ongoing discussions to address this issue. Finally, we heard that there was a need to show Heartland is an accessible higher education option available right here in town. Further, the research conducted can't talk tonight, sorry. The research conducted for the Developmental Regional Strategic Plan draft has led Heartland to consider the following to guide development of offerings to lead for individual jobs, then a better job, and ultimately a career. We've considered a CNA program and certificates in programs in healthcare fields like medical assistant, recovery support specialist, and dental assistants. The research also showed a need to expand career and technical education offerings in Pontiac. This includes aligning our certificate offerings with local employment opportunities, such as CAT, Enbridge, Edelman Electric, and Sheridan. Examples of programs could include mechatronics, HVAC, and welding. Heartland is working with industry partners to come talk to students about opportunities so students better understand what they are and what will be studying and what they will be studying and can lead to real-world employment. Heartland's industry partnerships could develop future apprenticeship opportunities in the future. So, okay, we're on page 11 if you're following. We want to provide pathways into programs at Heartland's Pontiac campus and beyond. We recognize there are challenges and barriers the students face, especially those with limited incomes. We know, for instance, that there are transportation difficulties for some trying to get to and from the Pontiac campus, whether it be to and from the normal campus or just locally within the town. We also know that some people may be unaware of the educational opportunities available to them, or maybe they're intimidated by the concept of higher education or entry into higher ed. To improve student success, we must address issues such as these, and that's exactly what we're doing. For instance, with regard to transportation, the board has instructed the president and administration to investigate transportation solutions and collaborate with providers like Connect Transit and Futures.
So next, I'm going to talk about the goals that we have between now and 2031. So In this, we're trying to take all of the information that we gathered from where I talked about with the listening tours and the environmental scan, and we're trying to get measurable goals towards those things that we saw as particular opportunities in the Livingston County area and specifically with the city of Pontiac. So our goal is, in the end, by 2031, to graduate 20 CNA students, nursing students, annually, to graduate 20 healthcare-related students in certificate programs like what Janet talked about, other different types, whether they're rehabilitation support students or dental hygienist or something along those lines. Have 40 students annually complete a career in technical education or CTE certificate that aligns with local employers' needs from the Pontiac campus, and also prepare them for the local employers like Elderman and Sheridan, et cetera, those types of companies. Establish an ESL English as a second language, even for me, English as a second language program to support 20 students annually and have 40 students complete a GED program courses through Heartland Community College in the Livingston County area by 2031. We want measurable goals that you can hold us accountable to, but we also realize that these goals might change a little bit depending upon how things change between now and 2031, but we wanted to start with something that was measurable towards the things that we saw as opportunities, at least to start with. Next, to finish out those goals by 2031, Heartland Community College in Pontiac will increase high school yields of those going to college. Chris Downing gave us a really interesting story about a young person that was in one of the local facilities talking about how they really wanted to learn more and grow towards a career. And the person was saying, well, go to Heartland Community College and here in Pontiac and talk to them, which was like a half a block away. And no, I'm not college material. And they're like, no. They walked them that half block. They got them signed up for courses right away, and they're being very successful in the program. So that just shows you that we have that hurdle that we need to help lead some people into because they might just not see themselves in higher education, but we need to show them that there's a lot more to higher education than just a 4-year degree. There's a lot of career and technical education opportunities. We want to connect with 10 Livingston area Career Center students to Heartland Community College after graduation and have 12 individuals earn their CDL annually. Also graduate 10 child care assistant workers by 2031. Now, all of these things that I've talked about aren't necessarily careers or career paths or education that we currently have. So that's why these are lofty goals that we're trying to work towards, but putting measurable things in there based upon what we heard and in a lot of the planning that we have done. So going back to this planning process where I started from, we went from the environmental scan to the listening tours to the plan draft. Now we're coming back with this feedback loop to see what your thoughts are on all of this. This is what is our ask of the Pontiac City Council. We want to partner with all of you, collaborate with you to implement this strategic plan. We want help in forming connections in this area. We want to identify facilities in addition to the main Pontiac Heartland Community College location. We've had a lot of success connecting with partners across the district where we can host learning where the students are. It doesn't have to always be in one of our facilities. It can be where the students are or where they need to learn. We are looking for a space for nursing program, a CNA program. We need that in order, it has to be a certified space with the state of Illinois that meets these requirements to be able to train those individuals. We need help in identifying space like that. Through coming out into these types of venues, we're finding a lot more connections where people know of spaces that we can use or connections that we can make. That's why we're out here. That's why we're asking for your help. We want to understand if there are grant opportunities in the area of where we can develop opportunities for students in this area. Ultimately, we want a continued mutual benefit and partnership more than anything else with all of the municipalities that we work with all of the governmental connections in the Pontiac area, in the Livingston County area, and for the benefit of the students in this area. This regional centers plan is anticipated to be considered by our board of directors, our board of trustees, this spring in March. But that's why we're here now, is to make sure that we're connecting with all of you, asking you for what your feedback is on it, or what your questions are, what your ideas are, before we move forward. So with that, we will stop there and open it up if you have questions, if you have ideas, if you have feedback on what we have presented.
So you have relationships with the hospital?
Yes.
Do they supply you room, opportunities for the continuing education opportunities for their nurses? Or?
So we're right now in discussion with OSF in that part of it as we look to bring the CNA program here. There are a number of things that we have to check with in the state, both for their part of it as well as ours. But that's one of our opening discussions. We found them amazingly welcoming and wanting to be great partners with us. It is, as we look to make sure that we're meeting all the state requirements of what the training has to be, that sometimes what is within a hospital doesn't necessarily meet the state's requirement for teaching, so we might have to just make a few soft adjustments. It's also for them, in some cases, potentially having to maybe take a room offline, which as they look at their own business practices, hey, can we afford to have that room as a teaching space and still be able to serve our community appropriately? So ongoing discussions, but they're very active within it, as well as our friends from Even Glow, the retirement community here as well too.
That was my other question.
Yes.
Even Glow, yeah.
Yes, and that part of it, both of them were part of our first environmental scan discussion back, gave us the feedback that there are a number of folks who come to them who want to start their careers as a CNA, but the only place that those folks were able to train before was either driving down to our normal campus or all the way over to Peoria. And if you're already trying to just start as an entry-level part of things, the mileage, gas, and time of going back and forth between those places just doesn't line up, so a lot of people just stop at that point. Did that answer your question, sir?
Yeah, absolutely. I guess a large part of your ask is for us to maybe point you.
Yeah,
in
ideas.
spots like that.
Is there a senior education program currently?
A senior education program, like
Continuing education?
continuing
For
education.
seniors who want to?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Oh, like adult education. Yes, very definitely.
Yep, our adult education program that you have within that part of it, as you heard that talking about there, that's our GED as well as other parts of it, allowing folks to come in. We also will have courses for folks who are within our community education courses who just want to learn and grow in that part. Does that answer your question?
Yeah, that's what I want.
Okay.
As far as the transportation, our new
Yeah.
Futures Connect program,
Yes.
have you,
Yes.
because that might be a means of
We-
identifying.
Dedicated.
Yeah, we have been in discussions with them as well, talking about how we can make those connections
Yeah.
to the needs of students, what we've heard in a lot of that, to try to make sure that that's part of their discussions as well. But we want to bring it up in these settings in case anybody else has other ideas or
Right.
connections that way too, so.
Yeah, we
Anything?
have been working with Connect, and they're working with Futures to figure out how to make this work.
Right.
So we are in dialogue with those organizations right now.
Good.
So I had a question about those enrollment
Yeah.
trends.
Mm-hmm.
The percentages that you had there. Have they, has a walk around like this been done before, and are those trending up and down?
That is a good question. I don't know about the trends of those.
So we do that every year, we conduct that study. So we work with the high schools throughout our entire district, and they provide us with the information on the graduates. We then run that against the National Clearinghouse, who then can look at that and say, are people going to college? If so, where are they going? So we can see actually the institutions that they're going to, universities, community colleges, not just ours, but across the nation. What it doesn't do, it can't tell us right now, because the systems in the state can't talk like this, but they cannot tell us whether they went to the military or if they're actually
I got
working.
you. I got you. Do you offer credits? I'm really not, I've been meaning to know more about Heartland Community College.
Great, yeah.
But do you, I mean, I started my life in a community college.
Great.
And transferred to other things.
Yeah.
So do you offer the same opportunities?
Absolutely.
For higher level degrees other than CDLs and all that?
Absolutely. Yeah, we're talking a lot about the career and technical education type programs as the certificate programs, things like that. But a greater majority of our students are those students that transfer. We are just, the career and technical education has been I'll use the word minority, but has been the lower percentage of our students in the past. We are growing in that area because a lot of the students, based upon where they've come from, they're starting school a little bit later in life or things like that, are interested in that. But absolutely. In fact, Angie, what is the percentage of your students in Pontiac that are that do move on to a four-year degree?
Yeah, so right now in Pontiac, we serve primarily those who are here to get their associate's degree, spend 2 years with us, and then transfer on to that four-year institution. We have, I would say it's probably 80% of our current student group from the Pontiac service area that we're serving in that capacity. So like Becky and Janet have shared that the career and technical education is the part where we're trying to grow. We're never going to get rid of what we're doing and serving those interested in the associate's degree, but really growing and supporting those students or community members who we haven't connected with previously.
Thank you.
And I'll add to that, we have many stackable programs. You will get a certificate. That's what most people need to support their family. Then you can get another certificate and another certificate. They can stack on top. You can get your associate's degree. You can move on and then get a bachelor's or whatever. I will tell you, in the last 6 years, we have added over about 40 certificate programs to our complement of courses that we offer. We value CTE programs equally to the four-year college programs because not everybody wants to go or can go to a four-year college. The other part is the certificate programs are a lot of people, like many of us, who've had a couple of careers, and it's like, I'm not done in the working field yet. And they have a challenge and they have an interest, and they go back and they get another degree to maybe go into something completely different than what they had spent 20 or 30 years in school. So we value both programs, and we know one size doesn't fit all.
Thank you.
Does Heartland still have the CDLLC?
The CDL program?
No,
The
the
CDL
Child Development Lab and Learning
Oh, yeah. You know more about
Does.
that than I do.
Yeah, we do have the CDL
Okay.
program, and but it is primarily down.
It's in Bloomington.
at-
So I got my associates from Heartland. I now have 8 years of college, but I started at Heartland in my late 20s.
Great,
And I had kids,
yeah,
and I just started going because I needed something to do.
yeah, yeah,
And then I just didn't stop.
yeah,
Um,
yeah.
But, I
But you
got, I
used
got
the-
grants, and my
the
my
Child
son
Development
who was at
Lab?
home went to CDLLC for free.
Great.
Which was huge.
Yes.
Because I wouldn't have been able to afford the daycare,
Right,
and I got through on grants.
yes.
I wouldn't have been able to afford it otherwise.
Yes, we do still have that at the normal campus, yeah.
And we've
And,
expanded, in the past 2 years, we've expanded that now that we have those scholarships, those opportunities for students that need to study in the evenings as well.
Oh, wow, yeah, I had to go during the day, which means then I couldn't
Right.
earn money.
Right, so now they can do it at night.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
So first of all, love that you're offering ESL classes. That is
Great.
awesome. I had it
Good.
in my list of things to ask, so that's amazing. Do you have any online offerings? So like I'm in my career, Spanish speaking is increasing, the number of Hispanic people that we run into and everything, and it's something that my company says, if you want to go back, you can, or take classes. I've looked, but I just cannot make it down to normal, and I can't do
Sure.
it during the day.
Sure.
And so, have you guys thought about any online or hybrid classes for some topics? Like, I know we're not the only industry where we see an increase in Spanish speaking.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we partner with our adult education department to offer the ESL program. We haven't had a class on the books yet because we're still in the early planning process of this. But what we can currently do to serve our students is get them enrolled, and we can support them through that enrollment process at Heartland, but they can take the class online and join that class. So there is the ESL class online, as well as we do have other credit programs in Spanish as well, so.
And I just want to make sure I heard your question correctly.
Yeah.
So if we say ESL, it's a person who's a Spanish speaker
Right.
learning English.
We're talking the
You
reverse
as
of
a
that.
English
I speak
speaker
English.
wanting to
I need to
have
get
the
better at
Spanish part of
Spanish,
it.
basically.
Yes.
And that's
So-
becoming more and more common,
Yeah,
actually.
we have through our continuing education area portion of things. I'm gonna tag in the president here because it's a little bit part of it.
He's
Otherwise,
whispering in your
it's
ear.
just, yeah, it's a
So
different show.
there's two different ways that we
Yeah.
do that for individuals that maybe are native speakers that want to learn Spanish, for
Right.
example. So we do have continuing, as Chris was going to say. So that's non-credit, that's I'm taking it, I'm trying to improve my skill sets. My wife, for example, is doing exactly that right now. I think they go up to 5 different conversation levels. But then we also have the credit program that is online. So that would be like a Spanish 1 or a Spanish 2 type class and so on. So we do offer that online. The continuing ed is in person currently right now. It's not online. So it's an in-person type of a thing. I should mention one thing with the ESL, for the online, what we're finding is, and what other colleges are also finding is that at the lower levels, the people that are just coming into trying to learn English as a second language, the success rate is very low when it's online. So we really are trying to move and direct them to an in-face type of a situation. If they get to the upper levels, then we can start to switch them out to an online version. So we offer it for the non-English speaking, and we also have foreign language or language classes for those that are English speakers. So,
Great questions.
Anyone else?
Any other ideas or questions or thoughts?
I'll just make one comment. I spent quite a bit of time with Chris in April, and people from the business community as well. And like your study showed, technical learning was by far one of the biggest asks and needs. And I guess it's a plug for Heartland, but down there with like the EVES program and the technical classes that Heartland has, my son went through those, and there's a great resource down there from Pontiac, and not to mention names, Mr. Hobart, but his whole group of classmates that he went through left that class and immediately had living wage jobs.
Great.
So, I mean, it's a fantastic opportunity, and that is the, and it's the most timely too, because I just read Ford executives are saying that we're at a crisis point in mechanics, that they're trying to hire people that can work on vehicles and can't. So, there's a need for technical jobs, and they pay well.
This is why we exist, to support the communities. Very good. Thank you very much for your input and your support. And this is just
Thank you, Chris.
the first step into the next few years into implementing this, and more to come. So please stay in touch, and please give us all the ideas you can get.
Okay, thank
Thanks
you,
so much.
ladies
Sorry.
and gentlemen.
And we're going to add just one more plug. If none of you or some of you have never been to the Heartland campus here in Pontiac, I invite you to, April will leave you her cards, to get in contact for a tour and really see what's available. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, moving on to item B. We have Greg here to introduce our newest staff member in the Building and Zoning Office.
Evening, Council. I do want to introduce Tyler Carley as our new Assistant Director of Building and Zoning. Tyler has joined the Building Department in December. but he's been working for the city since 2018. He actually started as summer help in the cemetery department, and then not long after, he worked part-time with Jim Melvin and worked his way to becoming Jim Melvin's right-hand man, and still was part-time, but was working a lot. And Jim didn't have room for a full-time employee, but Jim's loss is our gain. So we are excited to have Tyler. He's been the perfect addition to our department. If you are unaware, building and zoning kind of requires a special type of personality. You need to love people enough to want to help them with their needs and with their problems, but you also need to be strong enough to tell them when they're wrong. You've got to know the code enough to enforce it stringently, but you also need to know when grace or leniency is in order. So Tyler's been a really good mix for us, firm and fair. He knows that ultimately what we're here for is to support our city and to help our residents. He asks good questions, and he's already built a more systematic approach to patrolling the city and making sure he can identify where our code enforcement concerns might be. He's brought great ideas to the table, like including QR code on our communications, so that when you get a letter, you can scan that and it takes you right to the webpage of where you need to be. So we're really excited to have Tyler, and I'm going to yield the floor to him so he can introduce himself.
Thank you, Greg.
Thanks, Greg. Yep. Hello, everyone. Thanks, Greg, for the kind words and introduction.
That was
Really
your
nice.
blessing, yeah.
I'm glad Moses isn't here to hear that. I mean, just kidding. No, anyways, my name's Tyler Carley. Born and raised in Pontiac. Grew up here, obviously. Went to school, at high school. Went on to college. Came back during COVID. Started working for Jim full time. But yeah, a little bit about me. I'm in the community a little bit. I help the St. Mary's basketball program a little bit, and also coach at the high school for the baseball team, assistant coach. Personally, just got engaged not too long ago, so very exciting times. A lot of planning going on in my household, so maybe not on my part, but no, just kidding. But yeah, I'm excited for this new opportunity. Excited to get to work with Greg. I want to thank Jim Melvin, too, for the time I spent with him. I had a lot of good times with him, and so I wanted to thank him for that. And, I want to thank the City Hall staff for welcoming to their workspace. They've been great. I've had a lot of questions, and how to work a printer certainly has been an issue for me the first couple days, but scanning things through, and it's a little different than burying dead people, so. But yeah.
No doubt.
Anyways, a few goals for my new role. Every citizen and property owner has the right to live and own in a community that they're proud of. Okay, so a few things I'm going to try to achieve: swift action with violation notices, open line of communication with the violations, the people that have the violations, be approachable. No need to have an ego or sense of entitlement for the job. Willing to work with somebody. Follow through if necessary with abatement and fines to solve the issue. So in your packet, you have a violation list with your ward. And if you would like more details, I'm still trying to work through the exact process of how get the information to you. I think that's a good start for now. But if you would like more details, well, I'm willing to work with you. But yeah, that's all for me right now. If you have any more questions, I'll open it up for questions here, so.
So do you have a route that you're running, or?
Yeah, I have a certain route I pass through each day. Make sure I pass through each road through town.
So you're getting out?
Yeah, I drive a route every day,
observing.
a couple hours on the road. So, yeah. Anything else?
Go ahead, you go.
This is more for Greg than it is for
Yeah, that's okay.
I think for, on your monthly report, it would be good if we could see what projects are going on in the city. Because people ask me, what's going on here, what's going on there? I don't know.
Sure. Yeah, no, I do actually, at the weekly, or at our bi-weekly staff, I give Fawn a list of the projects that we have permitted. I can ask her to just add that to the back, and that might be super helpful.
I think that would be a good thing to have.
So I was going to say, this can be a thankless job,
Yeah.
and we really need someone like you. I mean, we've talked about this in numerous meetings before, and so I think we're all really happy to see this
Yeah,
extra couple of legs here, but just don't let it get you down.
yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
And I've only been here for a little bit over a month, so, but like every day, one day I miss something, I come back around, the next week, I missed that. And there's always something going on that I've noticed and one thing I've noticed, knocking on doors, I've had a few responses with that, and communication, a line of communication helps a lot.
Yeah. Wherever I can step in my ward to help you. just
Yeah,
let me
appreciate
know.
that.
Yeah.
Appreciate that. Yeah. And after, I can give you guys my cell phone number, so you text me or call me whenever you want, so.
Like Mike said, we've been for quite a few months in the planning process of obtaining somebody to be our code enforcement, because honestly, we had kind of let the standards that are set on the books of our community decline, and we hadn't been, maybe we didn't have time or the individuals to get out and do this. So hopefully, some of the actions that we're able to get properties cleaned up that have got issues will promote a lot more civic pride for everybody else. So, great job.
Yeah, thank you.
Great job.
So yeah, I am very excited about adding Tyler to the team, and he will help us to make sure our community is the way that we want it to be, and it also will help me do some things administratively that I haven't had time for.
Right.
One of the things that we are rolling out very soon is the business registration program. And that's an issue that's been bugging me since my first day with the city, is that when a business comes in and they want to open a business, all they need is money and keys, right? We don't know when they're here. A lot of times the city doesn't know when a business is opening until they start advertising. And it's very hard for me to verify zoning. It's very hard for us to know that the building is safe. It's very hard for us to let the community know what's happening if we don't know until the community knows, right? So we want to be able to let our community know what's happening, and we also want to be able to let the business owners know when things are happening. And so I need to know who's got businesses and where are you? So I've been working with Cheyenne from Main Street and with Marshall Nedlingham from the fire department to develop this business registration program. We'd like to roll it out immediately. It'll give us a chance to have business owner information, building owner information, and emergency contact information for the businesses in town. We want to be able to eventually have a directory of businesses in the city, so that when somebody comes in town, we have a welcome packet that we give people when they move to town. It'd be great to know, hey, where can I get my hair done? Where can I get my dog groomed? And it'd be ideally there'll be a map and a directory that says this is what happens here. These are the people to contact for it. So we're proposing a $10 annual registration fee. It's not a money-making opportunity for the city, but just a way for us to stay on top of who's where. The fact that we'll do an annual registration helps us to know if your business closes this year, boom, we're not registered, so we know where the closings are. That helps us to know where the empty businesses are, and it really helps us to be a better resource for our community. So our proposal is that if we want to roll out immediately, and if businesses are registered by April 1st, we'll waive the first year registration fee, and just keep things moving from there.
And this would be mandatory?
Yes. Yes.
So how are we going to publicize to get it started?
Well, so the first step is letting our community know, letting our business owners know that, hey, this is what we're doing now. And yes, we are requiring that they register. But again, the benefit for the business and for the community, if we lead with the why we're doing that, I think it makes perfect sense.
So I can understand how this could be beneficial to a business if they chose to do it. But then since it's mandatory, what problem does this solve?
It solves the problem of businesses that open and they're not properly zoned. It solves the problem of businesses that open and they have not met, say, health department requirements. We've actually had businesses open downtown with no health inspections, and they've closed because they did not have proper inspections. They did not meet the health department requirements. They did not meet plumbing requirements, and so.
So let's say I open and not the plumbing, but let's say I open up my business and I'm gonna provide counseling to people, but I don't actually have a license. Why would the city be involved
The city, specifically, there's a state licensing agency
Right.
that would be involved in that.
Right.
So that's not so much my concern.
Okay, but then I guess for the registry, what problem to the city does this solve?
It solves the problem of I don't know what's happening downtown, or I don't know where businesses are. If I don't,
We need to.
I'll finish. If I don't know what is downtown, I can't tell you whether what's downtown is compliant. We have zoning regulations and restrictions that there are certain businesses that can't be in certain areas.
So for zoning,
That's one.
okay.
I also need to be able to communicate with our business owners. When we have things like just last week or 2 weeks ago, we had a business owner meeting, downtown business owner meeting. If I don't know that you have a business, I can't invite you to that meeting and you can't learn about the things that the city is doing to help you. Does that make sense?
I understand the first part about the zoning, but if they choose to not go to the meeting,
Choosing to not go to the meeting is one thing. Having no idea that there is a meeting and not getting the support from the city that you deserve because we don't know that you exist is another thing.
but if they wanted the support, they could come here to get it. I guess I hate to put another burden on a business. It's just another obstacle that a business is gonna have to jump through
And you're
in
forcing
order.
it down their throat.
Yeah, and you're forcing it. It's just, to put another burden on a business because we say it's in their best interest,
To help you.
I don't believe that the database.
So part of that, the zoning part of it itself is for the comprehensive plan's orderly structure of businesses in town, right? And so, as a city, we can't just pick and choose who we regulate. And if we need to regulate, because we've talked a number of things, like, we would like to be able to regulate short-term rentals, right? That's a business that you're running out of your property. Making sure that those are in a place where they can be. We've had a number, like he said, it's not uncommon for us to have a business show up in town and we don't find out about it, and then we find out you technically shouldn't be in this area for where you're zoned, but we had no way of knowing that.
I understand it for the zoning.
I'm sorry, can I ask you why we don't know that?
Because we don't have a business
Because
registration program.
they don't have to communicate with the city at this point.
But then why would they bother to register if they're not gonna?
Well, they have to, then they have to communicate with us, and we can look at all those different issues and make sure they're zoned right, if there's gonna be improvements that they know who to talk to about permitting, you know.
And everybody here should be grandfathered in then. This should be a burden on the new businesses coming in that aren't telling anyone that they're coming here. That's wrong anyway. But yeah, why should we burden the people that are already here, that already know all this information, pretty much? I mean, we see it,
Right.
I mean, we see it on
And I suppose
emails, we
if you-
see it in our sewer bill, we see it everywhere. I mean, if you've got a
They'd
business
know
and you
where
don't
to
know what's
seek
going
it out
on,
if
then-
they wanted it.
But where does home businesses fall into this?
And can I ask another question before we, when the health department fails, we take up the slack?
I'm not sure
Because
what
he
you're
was saying that they didn't even get a health department inspection. How is that on us?
It's
How is
not,
that a
it's
problem
not,
for us?
the health department handles the health department stuff, but the health department also communicates with the city. And very many times, the city only understands that there is a business because somebody has had to deal with the health department. It's not my job to do the health department's job, no. But we are partners in serving our community.
But to charge somebody $10 so we just have information to do something that's not our job to do, just sounds like a burden that we're putting on a business.
But you're concerned about the things that aren't our job.
benefit
I'm
to
concerned
the
about the things
city-
that are our job.
Yeah, the fee's not necessarily the purpose of the program.
Shouldn't even be.
So whether there's a fee or not is I think for the sake of what Greg's trying to accomplish, is irrelevant for that part of it. So if there was zero fee,
Right. I
Other
guess
than
if
there
they were
would be a
free,
cost
I
of mailing
still-
out,
It's just
yeah.
another obstacle on a business.
How do you make them register?
That's the other thing. That's what I was gonna say too. How do you?
What's the
They
They
benefit
can be,
of
everything
have the
else.
building built, I mean, have moved into the building and started before they register, and we don't even know they're there anyway. So I don't get I don't
Right,
get
and
the
just
gist of
send
it.
them a
It
letter
just-
saying they have to
They're gonna
register,
do it
well,
anyway.
then we have to already know
And
they're
we don't even know
there.
they're coming.
That's sick.
How do we know they're, I mean, it doesn't make sense. You're gonna
I
mess with
think
somebody
that
that
would be
isn't gonna
it.
tell you they're here anyway.
I'm sorry, I see it this way. So I don't understand the need to charge someone to register to come and do a business, when at the same time we're looking to fill empty spots downtown or elsewhere, or we're trying to encourage business. So rather than charge, we should have an incentive. And that incentive means that you have to register to get one, open your doors and pass all these inspections and get all that out of the way. But something that incents them to want to play this game.
Kind of like
It
the
seem-
Better Business Bureau does it. I don't have to join the Better Business Bureau, but I can.
Right?
Or the
It
chamber.
sounds like it's just another added.
Either
penalty,
one.
just to
Well,
come
we-
in.
I
Only
mean,
with the chamber, you have to
Right,
pay,
honestly,
but they advertise
I
your
mean,
business.
honestly, if it's a voluntary program, we already have that, so.
Right.
There will be no need for anything else, but we'll continue to have businesses showing up where they shouldn't. And, you know, those kind of things we'll deal with, but.
But I think the people, let's say I open a business, I'm in the wrong zone. If I don't have the wherewithal to check that before I open a business, I'm probably not gonna have the wherewithal to register.
That's true.
Well, but there's a big expense after you just did a lot of renovations on your building and you
But
find out
they
you can't
don't
operate.
That's
know
on
that.
me.
They still don't know that, because they just walked into town without us knowing. So they still don't know, until they've actually got the registration, right? So it's kind of,
So whatever laws or codes or ordinances that we have, it's our job to communicate that, right? So the fact that they don't know it is an issue that we will have to address, but if we don't have a program, there's nothing to tell you about. Does that make sense?
Is this
But
something,
if we know,
Is
they
this-
don't,
Greg, is this?
They
something-
have
if we don't
an
know
ob-
they're there,
They have an
How
obligation.
how are we gonna let them know?
Greg, is this something that you've seen
how are they gonna know?
in
Exactly.
prior, in other
Is it in other
communities?
towns?
doesn't.
Almost every community that I'm familiar with has a business registration.
Chicago
It's
has one.
It's unreasonable
Right.
to expect for
Yeah, I'm
for
sure
the
that's
city to have
enforceable.
no understanding of where the businesses are in the city.
So Chicago has one, to answer your question. Yeah, there are cities, because I've been looking at it, and there are
Okay.
cities that do it. They're typically bigger cities,
Okay.
but there are cities that do it. And, I mean, you can kind of read on the pros and cons of it, but
but there again, the success rate of
I don't
that.
see what problem we're solving. I mean, if somebody's in a place where they're not supposed to be zoned, if we catch them, kick them out. You know, I guess that's on them.
But if we can help them, like, start their business, and they have a good starting block by being in this program and getting the help that they need, then I think that's a better thing for the community. Like, maybe it would make you want to own a business, or, you know, want to start a business. If you see, oh, there's all of these things, it's all laid out here for me. I can see everything that I need to do, and I'm gonna have all of my ducks in a row, then you might feel like you're set up better for success.
That's the incentive.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, not only that, if you do create that map feature or whatever, and somebody's coming into town, that's part of it. The part of it that I am hesitant about is one, charging every year for this when they're already here and contributing to the community by having a business here. That's the part I worry about, but also, like Jerry's right, like, we've got two business owners here. There's got to be an incentive for them to want to register every year to it, but to have them do that, they have to do enough already, is the thing. So I kind of think I get what you're saying about they need to do it every year so we keep it up to date and everything, but it's also one more thing they have to do. I don't like the idea of charging the businesses to do it every year without having some sort of incentive. Like, I have to report my acres every year, but that's because I have to do it for crop insurance, so I get something out of it, right? They're not really getting much out of the money for
And the
this.
proposal doesn't, it changes it from you may do this to the required. It says here in the third section, or in the third paragraph, Section 10 of our municipal code allows for business licenses administered by the mayor and signed by the city clerk. I'm proposing an amendment to require it. All the good things that could potentially go with this are not codified. So potentially, we could require it and then just create a database. A database, unless you're on, the only database I've known that has really helped people is the database so you can go on and see where the sex offenders live. Other than that, I do not see this as being a helpful database.
I think there's a middle ground in here for this,
there
and
is
I think we have to find
Yeah.
a middle ground on this, because I understand what you're trying to do, and I get it, and I feel like this is something that other municipalities are doing. Like, it's weird for me that a business can come into town and then we don't know they're there, but at the same time, like, every year to have to add one more thing, like, we're gonna have trouble with compliance then, and that's not necessarily something that, to spend time going out and forcing people to do this, or sending letters out, or spending the money on postage is really something that I would want to do. So I think there's a middle ground here on this. So I think finding the middle ground would be
And
a good idea.
businesses can go to the Chamber of Commerce as a way of advertising, and then we know they're there through that.
No, we don't.
We don't, but
Right.
somebody does.
Yeah.
But do we, aside from zoning, do we have to know? Do we?
We have a whole department called community enrichment, and part of what they do is to support our businesses.
But if I
And if-
don't want your support, do I have to give it to you?
Certainly not. Certainly not.
Do we need this to go to committee?
I think so.
I think so.
Yeah.
You know, Greg said he doesn't even know what the, what was it you called the other organization that doesn't do
Chamber
it?
of Commerce.
Chamber of Commerce.
Chamber?
right. So.
Yeah, but the chamber advertises, and
Yeah.
it costs.
Yeah, but then we have community enrichment. That is their responsibility to know what's
Correct.
going on downtown and what's going on with businesses around. So probably we, put this in a committee and then have Greg come back with, sleep on this a little bit and see if we can't find a middle ground that we would.
There has to be a middle ground for the existing businesses, because we already have a code enforcement officer we just got, right? And so you're already giving businesses the code enforcement officer who is making you clean out your yard, cut your grass, all that other stuff, and your fascia and all that. And then you're gonna register, and then you're gonna give us a whole other set of rules that you want us to comply with, because the new businesses coming in need to comply with. But we're already here for 50 years. But
What rules are we adding?
Well, you just said, the registration has all these different,
You got requiring the
yeah. it was like-
Registering, okay.
You're
Right.
What rules?
required to do all the things that you're gonna ask us to do and pay us $10 to do and register.
What are we requiring of you, Jerry?
The same things that you already require of us.
Okay, so what's
So why
what's
do we
new?
pay $10 to
So
do
what's
that? We're
new is what
already
I'm
paying to
asking
do that
you.
on our taxes.
The $10, if the $10 is your concern, that's the least of my concerns. I don't.
The $10 isn't even the biggest.
So why are we talking about the $10?
Because the $10 will turn into $20, then it'll turn into $50.
When?
Then it'll turn into something else. As soon as you put a dollar amount on something like that, it will grow every year. Don't tell me it won't, because it does.
I can't make a change without talking to this body. I don't.
One more thing to it, it grows.
Well, what I'd like to know is we want to be able to find a middle ground. I need to know where we're starting from.
I guess
And so-
I'll let you finish this.
So if our objection is the $10, let's talk about the $10. If our objection is not the $10, let's not talk about the $10.
Okay.
And let's find out what our objections are, so we
That's
can
a
find a
good
middle
point.
ground.
That's a good point, Greg.
I think for one thing, known businesses that have already gone through inspections and probably are required to do annual things anyway, shouldn't even have to comply with this any longer, but somebody coming in new, that's the ones you don't know.
But, my concern, Mike, is right now, I don't know anything. I don't know what inspections Mario's has had. I don't know anything, if that makes sense.
I guess, yeah, I mean.
So going back to what you said, Greg, it's
So
it's
let's
not the
say-
$10.
Let's say, like Jerry just put in a liquor license, right? So that's something you would know?
That's not something I would know.
That would be Kelly.
I guess
So
my
how does this help
contention
Pat?
would be, why do I have to give my information to the city? Other than for zoning, I can understand that zoning, that one makes sense to me. If I'm in a spot where I shouldn't be, because I didn't bother to check, that's a problem.
And,
That one I agree with.
and it's your problem, but it becomes my problem.
But once it
and-
becomes your problem, then you get to make it my problem. And now that negligence is my problem. And I'm willing to take that risk as a business owner. But I gotta say, here's my contention. It is nothing with the $10. I would pay $100 to not do this because my business is my business. And I don't want to have to give my information to somebody else because they think that they're going to help me. I can either do it or not. If it's voluntary, that's one thing. But I don't want to have to say, okay, well, if I'm going to open a business in Pontiac, I better collaborate with the city. Maybe I don't want to.
Do we need a vote on this?
No,
Okay, can we table this and send this to committee?
Yes.
Yes.
Let's do that then.
I think, yeah, by consensus,
Yes.
I think we'll
Yeah.
just go back and
Yes.
we'll have.
All right, thank you.
Thanks, Greg. Okay, item D, aviation fuel tax grant. I believe that would be Jim.
Committees need to invite business owners to these committee meetings.
They're all public meetings.
I know,
Yeah.
What meeting would this be, or
Specifically,
what committee would it
because,
be?
they're not gonna be aware
Well,
unless they're specifically told.
But so we should send a letter to all 400 businesses in town that we're having a meeting about this?
We can't, we don't know who they are.
A lot of business owners watch these meetings
Yeah, yeah.
that I'm aware of, several of them.
What's your suggestion? How do we?
I think that, we
Do
can
know
say
whatever you
here
wanna
that it's
do.
public and they can
Some
come
sort
if
of
they
public
want to.
announcement.
But what meeting would it be?
Well,
Decide what-
ordinances are, it's finance.
It'd be a
Yeah.
finance meeting?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
It's gonna be a full one the
I
next
wanted
time.
I wanted to be on finance.
We have like 3 other ordinances I
Yeah.
have ready to go for that, so. Okay, item D,
All right.
aviation fuel tax grant.
So you have this page in and Tyler said he had a hard time printing, he did not print this, make it look like this. I'll show you that. It's not supposed to look that way. I'm just giving you the information, this year, we receive aviation fuel tax, an allotment from the state, comes in the form of a grant. We're on page 2, our, airport initials are PNT,
Right.
about 7 lines down. We're entitled this year to $21,633.92. Basically, how this works every year is we are advised what the allotment is from the fuel tax, and then we complete a grant form, and that money, there's certain expenditures that it can be used for, and those are basically the operations of the airport. And we typically use the manager's salary, and if that doesn't use up the whole grant, then we move into health insurance benefits, and that grant will never cover both of those. So this year it'll probably cover salary and just a small piece of, like under $600 worth of health insurance. So just information, so you have more information. I know we have a lot of new council members on what the aviation fuel tax is and how the program works. So it's been, and actually it's been getting better. It's about in its 5th or 6th year now, and IDOT Aeronautics is getting the process a little more streamlined to make it a little easier.
Any questions? Okay. Item E, airport taxi lane reconstruct, T-hanger pavement awards through IDOT.
Yes, this is again just another informational piece. In your packet, you have a letter from IDOT. That is the award that Apple and H.A. Apple and Company has been awarded the taxi lane reconstruct the T-hanger. From the committee of the whole, I kind of talked about this Saturday. The taxi lane and the reconstruct T-hanger is the hangar that's closest to the main building. The grass and the concrete will be removed from there, and it will be, asphalt will be placed in there for all of the approaches up into the hangar, as well as the taxi lane from the hangars out toward the runway. Now, that program is in the amount of, for the construction part of it, is $169,321.75. The city's share of that is roughly $9,200. So we pay 2.5% of the total cost, and that is, like I said, the construction cost. There was already a design engineering cost. So there'll be some work going on there, and we still are in the process out at the airport of the fuel farm, and the entry road hasn't been completed yet either. That was kind of waiting on, there was some work with the Petersons and their agrichem business, and waiting on some drainage issues with us and with the state, and some permitting for some height allowances. And now we didn't want to pave the road and then have them come in and do a bunch of construction and drive a bunch of giant vehicles all over a brand new road. So it's been kind of on hold until we're at a good position there. So that program was already programmed a year ago. So that should be kicking off this spring.
There's nothing to vote on with
There
this
is
because it's
Right.
all approved, so nothing with that. Okay, on to mayor's comments. A few things that I'm working on just for, that will be soon going to committee. I have been exploring what other communities do for mobile food vendors and for the potential of coming up with an ordinance for that so that we have policy for any mobile food vendors. So I've got numerous other communities in central Illinois and got their ordinances and programs, so that will get to go to committee. Kind of on the same vein, outdoor dining regulations or codes for downtown. We've just kind of always been not make a final decision on those, and so we need to get some things firmed up now. The historic district that we've talked about doing through the housing program, we've learned that putting in a historic district, examining, creating one is the way to go with that. And so I have, the state has sent me some sample codes. I also have, Ottawa has a historic district in their downtown, so I have all of that, so that will have to go. There's really kind of a lot to that, so that will take a little more work than just committee. And then I'm also working on our liquor codes. There's some potential things that we can maybe eliminate from our codes, and there's a few things that we have to explore, perhaps expanding on with that. So those are all going to need to go into one of these committees in the next month, probably. That's all I have. City council comments, anybody got anything? Barb?
I have questions on the ice rink hours for this month.
I think it's supposed to be done, like, soon.
2 weeks from today.
2 weeks?
It closes.
Are we still doing Thursday through Sunday?
Correct.
And the hours are, what are we, 4 to 9?
That sounds right. Except on Saturdays and Sundays is a little bit different. I think
Okay.
it's earlier.
Parks and Rec posts that on their
It's on their
It should be
Facebook
on
page, yeah,
webpage.
Not everybody looks at the Facebook page, though, so,
or their webpage.
correct.
How's
Thank
the
you.
attendance been?
It was good the other night.
Lori told me they've been, she's like, when we're open, we're
Good.
taking in good receipts. So the weather just has not been, it's either been too warm or too cold.
Now it's
So-
just right.
Yeah,
That's Illinois.
right.
Yeah.
Anybody else comments? Okay, city administrator.
I have none.
Wow,
Just a need for
Oh.
executive session.
okay. Public comments. State your name and address, please.
I was not planning on speaking until the little contentious discussion earlier. Michelle Barnett, I live on Timber Street. I'm also a member of the Planning and Zoning Board, Building and Zoning Board. I have to say, I commend Greg for wanting to bring that idea to the board because I think it's needed. I know, I can think of 3 instances that perhaps happened, probably Jim might know, be able to say how long ago Taylor Johnson's building upstairs caught on fire. 10 years ago, 8 years ago? There was a Stillwell building recently that got hit by a car. There, I know that just last week, the Marshallones guy put on his Facebook page that, hey, my pipes are froze, and he didn't know why. It turned out the building next door had shut off their heat and electricity because it's empty, and his pipes froze. People need to be contacted in case of emergencies. And right now, unless the city has had dealings with businesses, there is no way to get hold of anybody. So I think that's a really good aspect of what Greg is trying to do. I know there's issue with whether it's gonna cost $10 or have something else for a business to do, and I'm nervous, so my foot's shaking. Anyway, and I don't know why, it doesn't bother me. The other thing is that this body recently voted to impose regulations on all of the downtown businesses regarding shoveling. You did not invite those businesses into that discussion. I think you guys can come up with a plan yourselves without having to get 400 people involved. I have faith in you. That's all I gotta say.
Hey, thank you for your insight. That was
You're
good.
welcome.
Thank you.
Thanks, Michelle. Jim, anything? TJ?
Yeah, I just got one quick thing.
Please come and state your name and address for the clerk.
No problem. Theodore Batista, 1712 Middle Lake Drive, Pontiac, Illinois. I moved here about 5 years ago. I love this town. It's a great town. With this zoning thing might be what I'm hearing. I'm here for something totally different, but I represent Bees Rally Point for gaming. They're in a zoning part that he didn't know anything, that he couldn't get gaming till now. So I'm trying to get him gaming. A lot of these bars and restaurants need gaming to help. It's almost became like you need it to survive as a bar and a restaurant now. So he came here, he thought he was fine with the zoning, and at that point, he can't do it. So that zoning idea might be a good idea. That's all I have. Thank you.
He did know that. When he received his liquor license, he was informed of that.
Okay.
As soon as he opened.
Thank you.
So, but that's one of the things in the codes that I'm looking at, so.
Okay.
But that will go to committee, and thank you. Okay, with that, we have need to adjourn for executive session, and there will be no action afterwards. So we won't come back into anything regular. So if I have a motion to go into executive session by Barb, second by Jerry. Roll call, please.
Jovenini,
Yes.
Barr,
Yes.
I'm not sure that we need this.
S. Horner.
Yes.
Causer.
Yes.
A. Horner.
Yes.
Rambolt.
Yes.
Bradshaw. Yes. Howard.
Yes.
Willie.
Yes.
Okay. We'll give them time to vacate.